I think you always already had that in the form thing where you placed Thompson, you put in there, played with in a movie, but McCon is who my wife would like to play me, I'm pretty sure.
Robert Downey Jr., I don't know who would play me in a movie, but I like his movies, and I think he's got a good attitude in the movies, so he's a little bit sharp with people sometimes. I like that. He gives a little bit of attitude back to people, so that'd be a fun one to have, I guess.
My father served under General Patton, and sometimes I like the stories about General Patton because he was a person that had an assignment and got it done. He was an action-oriented person, and my dad used to say that oftentimes he'd sleep with his boots on because he was never sure what would happen the next day and where they would go. So I'd like to be that kind of guy.
My role model is my dad. He worked very hard. He had 4 kids. They had a pretty meager upbringing, I guess you'd say. Hardworking guy. He went to Wapton as a tin snip when he graduated there, and he worked his way up, and now he owns his own company in Fargo here. So he worked really hard to provide for us, and he's my role model.
Well, that's unfair. I like Island Park a lot because we have a lot of activities at Island Park. One of my favorite days is when we have all the municipality stuff there, the big fire trucks, machines, and everything there. And then we have all the different groups from the community show up at that time. I like it then.
I'd say Island Park. It's when I remember being, when I was younger in Fargo, going and swimming out there, and then just kind of hanging out at the park a little bit. So my favorite park would be Island Park, I guess.
Gardening, I like to garden. My parents always had a garden when we were growing up, and to make a good tomato is like one of those things I really like to do, and it's just amazing to me how fresh vegetables can add to your meal.
I hate to say it, but I'm super loud. I can be super loud sometimes. So my hidden talent, especially in high school when we would have like rallies and stuff like that, you could hear my voice from a long ways away. So I think that would be my hidden talent.
To be mayor? No, I watch my kids grow up and get jobs and have their children grow. It's just fun to see how much of my grandchildren have their parents in them.
I want to go back to, I want to travel more when I'm in my retirement age, I suppose. I went to Europe when I was a teenager, and I don't think you appreciate things as much when you're that young as going to like Rome and things like that. I saw the Vatican, which was really cool. So I'd love to take my wife and my kid to Europe, travel all around there, and show them what I got to see when I was younger.
The best meal I ever had was in Minneapolis one time. We went to a restaurant and we had great appetizers, a great meal. Our waiter was super, and my kids were there with my wife, and it was just one of those meals you remembered as, this really feels good, and you were done and you couldn't even finish dessert. It was fantastic.
One of them, well, one that strikes me right away was I went to Maxwell's for Valentine's Day with my wife a few years back, and we went for it. We went for the really expensive high-end meal, and so I had the steak. And to this day, my wife comments about how I thought that was the best steak I've ever had.
Boy, that's a real tough one. I'd like to be Superman because it'd really be fun to fly. I think to fly and go wherever you want, you could just barefoot water ski, wouldn't even bother you at all. It'd be super.
Captain America. Captain America is my favorite superhero. I like his personality. I like his superpowers, being extra strong. I like his idea of being civically minded, always serving the people. I think that's awesome. So I've always admired Captain America.